abdominal discomfort, not feeling very well, very dehydrated. We directly admitted him here to the ICU.
And he was a perfectly clean, healthy kid who came in with such severe degree of pancreatitis. He was extremely short of breath. He looked okay. He was talking. He was having respiratory compromise. He was in distress. We ended up intubating him. He would be crying with tears flowing, but he wouldn't even ask for pain medications. He didn't complain because I think he was just a guy, which I see a lot.
This patient would definitely 100% chance of being deceased if he did not go to the OR at the time that I took him to the OR. He was actually hypotensive, meaning infection, and also he was in renal failure and respiratory failure. So he was already at the point of multiple organ failure. 50% of patients will actually die within the first 48 hours of that original operation. The amount of surgeries that he required was approximately 17 operations. Most patients that have the condition that he has do not live to actually get those operations. There are a lot of things that could dissuade you to do the things that you do, because you could look at it and say, this guy is very sick and what I may do may not help him. It was a no-brainer to me that if this was my child, if this was my family member, I'm going to do everything that I can to support him.
We were trying and fighting every day to keep him alive.
There were a lot of times that different physicians and us, we had, of course, the discussions that we don't think he's going to make it.
The nursing team could see how the family was there for him all the time, even though he was unconscious, to keep him connected with family. They brought a radio, they will sing to him, they will read to him. We also tried pet therapy.
He was here so long that all the nurses and doctors thought of him as a little brother, because they would carry him from day in, day out for close to 87, 88 days.
When you go into a hospital and they ask you for a co-payment, these girls say, well, we have no funds. We will do as much as we can to bring you a payment. They started selling burritos to the nurses. That day broke our hearts. They raised about $50. Our CFO told this family they don't need this stress right now. We're gonna work with them financially. The nurses bonded with the sisters, and they bought this basket and they put very essential things. And they also got him gift cards.
His name was no longer Eduardo, it was actually Lalo. They would catch him saying Lalito. This family had just endured the loss of the mother, and the father was gravely ill as well. You have to feel for this family. They were limited to the amount of family interaction because they weren't U.S. citizens, nor could they pass.
This is the first time I've ever been in a situation where we were able to transfer a patient from here to Juarez.
Mrs. Canales said, well, we have two ICU beds in the Hospital de la Familia. Mrs. Canales and Nico and his staff began the transfer of him over to Juarez.
We connected with the physicians in Juarez for us to be able to evaluate if it was possible to participate in this case.
We had a relationship with the doctors from Mexico, namely Dr. Martinez, who I spoke to and opened up this door.
There is so much involved when you're transferring a patient. The logistics are not easy.
When he was getting ready to leave, an ambulance picked him up to take him. They all stood in line to say goodbye. I mean, that is awesome. And then on the other side, to have people waiting for him so that they could take equally good care.
To establish a relationship with Mexico through FAMAP was a breakthrough.
Pero el origen del problema, el problema de su páncreas y el líquido que debe salir del páncreas iba a todo su estómago. Fue necesario volverlo a abrir y venía con 2 tubos para drenar. Nosotros tuvimos que poner 2 más, ahora tiene 4. No podía comer nada, lo estaban alimentando por una vena. empezamos aquí a darle un poco de alimento. Prácticamente a esta parte se ha enfocado el tratamiento. Tratar de que no se vuelva a infectar porque tuvo una infección tremenda después de su cirugía. El reto ha sido tratar de que no haga una neumonía.
We are providing medical care, wonderful physicians, the nurses, nutritionists, psychologists, including the support that we provide to the family.
Ahora él habla, pero ya lo puede expresar.
And Lalo was a story that reminded every single provider, why were we here?
The fact that this happened for the first time in any recent history, I think says a lot about the potential collaboration between both El Paso and Mexico when it comes to healthcare, because we probably have to agree with the fact that there is no borders when it comes to healthcare.
We don't know how this story's going to end. He's still very ill. This story is worth telling because of the extraordinary people who are serving others on the U.S.-Mexico border.
Anything that I can do, I will do it, because FEMAP is for the people.